Pinchas. I am driving again to work, and as usual, of course, I'm bored. So a lot of times in my drives, I like to meditate and think about different things. Right now, I'm meditating particularly on Psalm 15. That's what I've been studying this week. So Psalm 15 talks about what kind of a person is worthy to live with God, to dwell in God's tent, to be on His mountain, and it goes through the virtues and the actions really of this type of a person who would be worthy to be in such proximity with God. And so I find that, of course, alluring. We all want proximity and closeness with God. We all want that connection. And so to me, Psalms, they teach us righteousness. And so this is what I'm digging into. I'm digging into right now into verse 3 in particular. Here I'm at the red light, so I'm going to read this. He that hath no slander upon his tongue, nor doth evil to his fellow, nor taketh up reproach against his neighbor. The first phrase in Hebrew says, Lo ragal al leshono. So lashon means tongue, al leshono is upon his tongue, so and ragal is scorn or slander. That's really what it means. But if we dig a little bit deeper into those words, actually, ragal is the same exact root as regel, which is leg. Basically, we have lots of words in Hebrew that are connected to that. There's 3 holidays that are called regalim in Jewish tradition. They're called the kind of holidays that you travel on foot. You literally go to Jerusalem. They're called the pilgrim feasts sometimes in the Bible. So regel means leg, literally, like you're walking on foot. When the spies go out to check out the land of Israel, the people they sent into the land called meraglim. Meraglim literally means those who go on foot to check things out. And so the same thing is in the story of Joseph. When his brothers come to buy grain, Joseph pretends to be this maniacal Egyptian ruler, and he accuses them of being spies. He says to his brothers, "You are spies. You came to check out the nakedness of the land." Meraglim atem. When it says lo ragal, do not, bring slander. Do not scorn. How is that connected to legs in any way? Well, if you think about it, what you're doing is you're walking something evil, walking something bad. You're walking across another person. You're running them over with your tongue, if you want to think about it. You're literally, jaywalking across a person's life. In English, these connections would never be made, but in Hebrew, there it is. Of course, the word does mean slander, but it is connected to walking. Our tongue can be evil, and we can just walk over people. And that's what this verse is admonishing us not to do. So, lo hagal al leshono, there is no slander upon his tongue. Basically, this person simply does not slander people. So another phrase in Hebrew that follows this one is lo asa le'yahu. Well, what does that mean? Lo asa, of course, do not do. That's pretty straightforward. And then we have the word re'aha. The word that that's from probably famous verse from Leviticus that gets quoted in the New Testament. That's actually what makes it world famous. Leviticus says, "V'achavta re'acha kamocha," and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. That is how everyone knows this translation. In reality, Rea means friend or fellow. It can be a neighbor, but it can also mean just a companion or a comrade. So many words that you can pick perhaps in English besides neighbor to express that idea. But we're funny like that. When we pick a translation we like, we tend to stick with it. So that one is poetic and everybody loves it. And so when it says, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself," that sounds great. And so everybody goes for that one. But this is the same exact word here, riyahu. And reya means someone who's close to you, a fellow, a companion, a friend. And so you're not supposed to do to him what? Ra'ah. Well, this is interesting because we have 2 words in Hebrew side by side. Reya is someone who's nearby, someone who's close, a friend, a companion. And then Ra'ah Ra'a means bad, badness, wickedness, evil. I mean, all sorts of possibilities out there. So do not do evil to somebody who's close to you, who's your neighbor, who's your friend. That's essentially is the kind of person that the book of Psalms says is worthy to be close to God. The next phrase says, V'cherpa lo nasa al kerovo. V'cherpa lo nasa al kerovo. How do we translate that? Cherpa is scorn. It can mean taunt. It can mean to revile. Basically, it says scorn. Lo nasa, do not lift up, literally. Do not carry up. Al kerovo. Al kerovo, someone to whom you're that close and that perhaps even related to, you're not supposed to bring cherpa, scorn or taunt. Other words are contempt or reproach. Perhaps there's a few other good ones. So what does this verse really teach us? Well, it teaches us not to use our tongue to bring contempt and scorn, not to revile people, not to taunt people with our tongue, but treating somebody like that with our tongue is only part of the problem, because that is only the beginning. Yeshua's teaching on that topic was interesting. The famous so-called Sermon on the Mount, or Sermon on the Hill, or teaching on the slopes, as I like to call it, because if you've been to that spot, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeshua talks about us not treating each other that way, comparing it actually to murder. He says, you have heard, you shall not murder. And I say, you should not even speak evil to your brother. Why? Because it begins with your tongue. The scorn, the taunt, the contempt, they begin with harsh words, words that cut so deep. Then hatred sets in, disdain sets in. Whatever love that may have existed starts to dissipate, and feelings of anger and animosity start to take over. And in our passion, we move from lashing out at somebody with our tongue, calling them names, to actually taking action and possibly even injuring them and possibly even killing them. That's what Yeshua is talking about. This is a slippery slope. It begins with our tongue. So when the psalmist speaks about this person who's worthy to be on his mountain, who can be in the tent of the Lord, this is the kind of person, the person who avoids this type of behavior, because this type of behavior will certainly not lead to anything good. So I'm inspired by this, to watch my tongue, to watch my speech, to think before I speak of how my words might be offensive, how they may cut somebody to the core. So as I'm driving to work, as I'm meditating upon these words that are read, that I have been reading actually all week and thinking about, and now that I've shared this with you a little bit, hopefully this is insightful to you, looking a little bit at Hebrew and just considering what it really means, actually. What is the deeper meaning that we can see by understanding the original language of the Bible? Hopefully that inspires you as well. So thanks for spending a few minutes with me on my morning drive. I'm almost at work, so I'm going to wrap up this video. Thanks. And oh yeah, if you love my videos, please don't forget to subscribe and share them with your friends.